This is 1999. This is an old test. Problem 3, it's part of the calculator test. It gives us a table, and it says the rate at which water flows out of a pipe in gallons per hour, and they even labeled the units on it for us at the top there. It's a differentiable function r of time t, so r of t. The table above shows the rate as measured every 3 hours for a 24-hour period. Okay? So use a midpoint sum with 4 subdivisions to equal the approximate 0 to 24 of RT dt. So gallons per hour times hours, you're going to get gallons. The units are going to be gallons. Using correct units, explain the meaning of the term of the water flow. Yeah. Well, first of all, 4 subintervals, guys. 24 divided by 4. Do you guys agree they're 6-hour intervals? They do that on purpose because now it's really easy. So we're going to go 0 to 24 of RT dt. All right, and I'm going to erase the 6. We know it's a 6-hour interval. So that's going to equal 6 times. And the midpoints of 0 to 6 is R3. You guys agree? The midpoint of 6 to 12 is R9. The midpoint, because here's the first interval, here's the second, third, and fourth. The midpoint of the next one is R15. And the midpoint of the last one is R21. All right, so 6 times 10.4 plus 11.2 plus 11.3 plus 10.2. There's our math. So this equals 258.6 gallons. All right, so I would argue that that is, now, it says explain your answers in terms of water flow. What is this? In 24 hours. The amount of water that flowed out of the pipe in 24 hours. The amount. Now, in truth, this is something we do all the time. When I was at Hormel, this is exactly how we guessed how much sewage we created. Because we didn't measure 4 million gallons of sewage every day in gallons. We measured flow rates. Okay, so this is exactly how we would calculate it. All right, so if I score it, here, let's see, did I do it right? If you have this or this, give yourself a point. That you use those is worth a point. The answer is a point. Just the number, and units are going to come up later. Okay, you get a point if you get units in a couple parts, and finally the explanation is worth a point. So there's 3 points here. Okay, 3 points. All right, that's letter A. Letter B, is there some time t between 0 and 24 such that r prime of t equals 0? Justify your answer for yes or no. All right, is there some period of time? You have to start looking through the numbers. All right, and the only thing you should be thinking here right now is what can I do? The thing here I'm thinking is mean value theorem. All right, you've got to be thinking mean value theorem. And nothing is repeating. But look at the last time. The first time. Okay? Think about it. You have R of 0 equals R of 24, right? Equals 9.6. And I'm going to use gallons per minute like that. Or no, can't use gallons per minute. Mainly because it's gallons per hour. Oops. All right? Well, think about the mean value theorem. What's the mean value theorem say? Yep. It says this, right? Yeah. It says the average, that the instantaneous must equal the average at least once in the interval, as long as it's differential, and it is. Well, think about this. What do we know now because of this fact right here. We know the top's going to be 0. So guys, the answer is yes, it can be 0. So there's the answer. Now this is an old test. This would not work. If you wrote yes, give yourself a point. You don't need anything else. They do not let you get away with that anymore. Okay? But in 1999, I guess they did. So yes is a point. And what's the reason?
Do we have to put down like
MVT, mean value theorem, guarantees a r prime t0 because I would write this, and this is not on the answer sheet, but I would write this. I would actually write out the mean value theorem showing those two values. I'd want to make sure I got this point. This is only 2 points then. Yes and the reason. All right? Yes and the reason. Letter C. The rate of the water flow can be approximated by that polynomial. And can we just say it?
Yeah.
Use QT to approximate the average rate of water flow during this 24-hour period. All right, guys, this is the average of a function. Do you guys agree? They're asking you to approximate the average rate of water flow. Well, think about it. What's the units on this? What's the units on Q of T? All right, it can be gallons per hour. So we're going to have to do the integral of QT, right? Exactly. So guys, this is an average. So think about, remember our formula, f of average is 1 over b minus a to b, f of t dt. Do we agree? And that's the average rate of return. So the function we need this time, in this case, all right, is going to be, I'm recording. So it's the integral. So from 0 to 24. You guys agree? And it's 1 over 24. Now think about it. 1 over 24 is 1 over 24 hours. You guys agree for units? We're going to integrate 0 to 24, and I'm going to write Q of t dt. Is that okay with you guys? Instead of putting all that stuff in there. And think about it. What do we get for units from the integral here, for this portion right here? What units come out of that? Gallons. Because Q of t is gallons per hour, you integrate over hours. Gallons per hour times hours is gallons. And then 1 over 24 hours, you're going to get gallons per hour. If you do this integral, you just type it in the calculator. All right, 179, parentheses, all that stuff. You do the integral. Again, this is an older test. You guys tell me, what's the fourth decimal place? 784. Did anybody get this? There's got to be a fourth decimal place. When you put this in
Oh, yeah, 8.
8. They gave credit for either 784 or 785, but we would go 4 decimal points. Gallons per hour. This is worth 3 points. The limits, this right here. If you have the limits in the 124th, that's a point. All right? QT is the integrant. You have that in the middle, or the function itself in the middle of the integrant. That's a point. Okay? Finally, the answer, 10.784 or 785 was a point in this case. And now, that's only 8 points for this whole test, or problem. You give yourself 1 point if you have gallons on A and gallons per hour on C. You need them both to get the point. If you have one or the other, you
So
don't.
what if we get the number?
If you have the units gallons per hour and you just didn't write GP, if you have units,
I missed it.
that doesn't matter. You get the credit because you have the units on both. All right.